Are you in that place between curious and committed to writing your book? If you are, stick with me. Sometimes you might hear it knocking at the inside of your head trying to come out, and I know exactly how that feels. So do all the authors that I've worked with to help them get their book out of their head and onto the page finally. I want to introduce you to one very special one. Her name is Dr. Sarah Hart. And what she epitomizes so well is that this journey to become an author is really one of self-discovery. It's a transformation for the author as well as for your reader. So Sarah wrote her first book and it became very popular. She's been speaking about it all over the place. And so she was inspired to write another one. And now that book is growing so big that it's becoming a movement. Sarah, welcome.
Hi, Amy. Thank you.
Your two books, they have some similarities, but they're quite different. The first one is The Upside of Downsizing, Getting to Enough. And the second is Prime Spark, Women Over 55, It's Our Time. Sarah, what advice would you give to new authors who are just thinking about dipping their toe in this journey of becoming a published author?
Well, I would encourage you to do it. Just do it. Just sit down and start writing. Just sit down and start writing and see what comes out. And you don't have to do this alone. I mean, I'm not being paid for this, but Amy is an absolutely wonderful book coach. I would not have the two books if it weren't for Amy. It would not have gotten done. Week by week, or however often we met for at least during the downsizing book, I had sort of agreed that I would try to have X done, and that kept me going. And if I hadn't had that, I don't know if I would have kept going. I would say two things. Just start writing and call Amy. I mean, I've gotten the most heartwarming emails from people I don't know. They're so grateful to me for having written the book because it was so helpful. Well, what is better than that? I mean, really,
Right.
There's nothing better than that.
You mentioned you have shiny object syndrome, and I think so many of us do, where it's really fun and exciting to get started on a project. And then it's very easy to get distracted by other things that are happening.
I am very much a shiny object person, so it's really hard for me to keep going and complete things. I had one day a week that was my writing day. Every Friday, I went to my favorite writing coffee shop. It's not my favorite coffee shop, but it was my favorite writing coffee shop. And that's what I did. In order to write, you absolutely have to block out that time. And it is inviolate unless there's an absolute emergency. I mean, I have a lot of trouble, quote, grabbing time in between other things to write. My mind's not there. I can't do it that way. Maybe other people can. I can't. So if you're one of the people like me, then you have to have a certain amount of time absolutely set aside that is inviolate, and that's your writing time. The day the first box of books arrive and you open that, and there is your book with your name on it, and maybe on the back cover, your picture, it is an incomparable feeling.
And now it's your turn. I'd love to ask you a couple questions. Like, what is your purpose? What's your mission with your book? Who are the people that you most want to reach? Like, think of this as the person whose life lives will be changed by hearing your message and helping them understand their own story. How's it going to feel to open that box of books for the first time? And lastly, what's holding you back, really? I'd love to hear your story. And if you're curious about your story and what might be holding you back, I've got a little workbook for you. All you have to do is click on the link next to the video and get curious to dive into your own story. Then you can bring it to the world.